Hi, it's Lisa, and here's a video that shows you how to create a calculated field in a query. Specifically, I'm going to demo what you do in Chapter 3, Case 3, which is the Rossi database, and Step 14. In the second half of Step 14, you are to create a calculated field and name it net donation. And that calculated field is going to take the donation value and subtract $8.75. So here's how to do it. So I've got the query open, and when you want to create a calculated field, what you do is you just go to the next available field. So, I've got all these other fields in here, but I go to the next available blank field. Then what I could do is I could start typing right here, but it's always a bad idea to type. So let me show you a better way. When you right-click in that little cell, or anywhere in that column, you'll get this menu, and one of the things you get is the build. It looks like a little magic wand sprinkling stardust, and if you click on that, here's what comes up. This is really what you should use to build your expressions, because there's a couple of different buttons and things you can use in here that will help you build the expression without doing much typing. So the first thing I do when I build an expression is I create the expression first, and I save it. An expression in a calculated field is just like you would do it in Excel. For example, let me type here and pretend I'm doing an Excel equation. An Excel equation might be something like A3 times, 42, right? And when we do an Excel expression, we start it off with an equal sign. So it's very similar in Access, except in Access, instead of using cell references, you actually use the name of the field. If you're using a constant like I did, 42, you'd still use a constant, and you still use operators like times and divide, etc. Another difference is that you can name the expression, and so instead of an equal sign, you're actually going to give it a name followed by a colon. So you'll see that in a second. All right, let me wipe this out. And first, again, I build the equation. So that's going to be donation value. And here's what's nice. Right down here, it shows me the fields I'm using currently. I can also get access to other fields and different functions over here. But I've got the field right here that I want, which is donation value. And if I double click on it, boom, pops it up there at the top. Notice that field names are always referenced in square brackets. So this is similar, like in Excel, you would reference A3 or B6. Well, here you reference fields. And again, those field names are always verbatim, the same as you named them originally, and of course in square brackets. Better not to type, because if you type, you're likely to make a typo. All right, now I need to do that and say minus sign, and they want me to subtract 875. That's a constant, so I just type that, 8.75, and I'm ready to go. Now, sometimes a good idea is to create the equation, don't worry about labeling it yet, and just go ahead and click OK. I'll show you what happens when you do that. I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to hit Enter, and you can see it actually named it. I'm going to widen this out because it's hard to see. So there's the equation, and notice it automatically put an EXPR1 colon on there. Since I didn't name it, it knew it needed to give it a name, and it just put one on there. Well, if I don't want that, I can edit it right here, or again, I can right-click and go to Build. And the book actually wants me to give it a different name. I need to leave that colon in there, but the name the book wants is Net Donation. Okay, so that's the name. The book puts a space in there. I don't necessarily agree with that, but we'll leave it as the book wants it. And I'll click OK. And now the equation is set. So notice again in the equation, when you reference things, you don't reference cells like you do in Excel. You reference field names, which are in square brackets. Operators and constants look as normal. And you give it a name, and the name is always followed by a colon. And that's it. Hope this helps.